Have you ever said, I want to learn how to do the right things right now for where I'm at in my business? If so, you're not alone. Far too many business owners, they get caught up in doing all the things to grow their business, but then they get to these points where they either don't know what that clear next step is, or they're just caught up in the middle of everything that it feels overwhelming and they just stop. So the dilemma is if you don't have a clear plan as far as what you need to do next, then that can keep you caught up in that spiral. So that's why in this video, I'm sharing 3 tips for when you don't know what to do next in your business. I tend to fly through things pretty quick. So if you want the show notes, then drop the word next in the comments and I will send them your way when we get done. If you don't know me, my name is Joyce Layman, and I show coaches how to attract and connect with their ideal clients online using simple social systems so they can generate more leads and make a bigger impact without getting overwhelmed in the process. Now, running a business can be overwhelming. It doesn't matter if you're just starting out or if you continue to grow and you're going to that next level. There's a lot of moving parts and it's easy to feel overwhelmed. So that's why this 3-part strategy or these 3-tip strategy is going to help you to get clear on what you need to do. So tip number 1 is to define your ideal outcome. It's when you know where you want to go, it's a lot easier to get there. So this is a little bit different than goals because this is that big vision. It's what does your business, what do you want your business to look like in a year, in 3 years, in 5 years? Now, I'm not necessarily an advocate of creating a 5-year plan because I know that things are going to happen, some within our control, some completely out of our control. However, it is wise that you create, what do you want that 5-year vision of your business to look like? So here are some great questions to ask. As I mentioned, these are going to be in the show notes. So what are the professional goals that you want to achieve through your business? So underneath that vision, what are the goals that you're looking to accomplish? Do you want to work, as example, do you want to work, one-on-one clients? Do you want a group coaching program? Do you want, a variety of things? Do you want to be speaking? Do you want to write a book? Do you want to have a podcast? Like, think of all of those things that sound like something that you want to do. All right, number 2, what does success look like for you? Success looks different for everybody. Sometimes it is a revenue number, and sometimes it's serving a number of clients. I have several clients, they don't want to build huge businesses. They want to have their handful of clients that they're able to serve consistently because they're at a stage in their life where it's either a second career or they're actually trying to wind down or they want more time with their grandkids. So that's why you define what success looks like to you. Number 3 in those questions to ask is, how do you know when you've achieved it? If it's a revenue number, that's a great measurement, but sometimes what you're looking to achieve isn't necessarily a number. So that's why you've got to know, what is that? Is it you're working 20 hours a week and you're generating the revenue that you want? Is it a matter of you want to be able to take off so many vacations? Or maybe you've got, for some people, they say they want, X number of followers. Those are vanity metrics. So I wouldn't necessarily say that, you want to build your Instagram to 10,000 because 10,000 followers doesn't necessarily equate to sales, but you still need to define what success looks like to you. All right. What are your priorities? This is a big one. So what are your priorities and how do you create a business that aligns with them? So going back to, like in my situation, priorities for me are, yes, I'm building my business, but I want to make sure that I'm taking time off. In the past, I never gave myself permission to take time off on the weekends because I do track weekends with my significant other that I live with, also a track guy. Then it's one of those things, those priorities are to get systems in place for my business. So that way I've got that, I hate the word work-life balance, but I'm building the business that I love. I'm able to give back philanthropically. I'm taking time off. So think about, that third question you should be asking yourself are, what are your priorities? Then that big thing is, how much time? define the amount of time that you want to spend. So if you are transitioning from one business to another, look at in your day, how much time do you have to devote? If you've got kids, if you're juggling all the things and you're trying to build a new client base, but you still have to do marketing, you've still got to do the sales piece. So really think about that. I don't want you to get yourself set up for failure thinking, well, I only want to spend 5 hours a week in my business. If you have absolutely nothing established yet, you have no online presence, you haven't done any of your client research, you don't even know, you don't have an offer created, you're going to have to spend a little bit more time up front to get to a point where you can spend 5 hours a week just marketing your business and serving clients. But that means you're going to have very few clients. Now, if you have a product-based business, it's totally different. And I admire people that have product-based businesses, but I'm talking about service-based businesses here. And then finally, another great question is, what specific changes can you make if your business is going in full swing right now? What changes can you make to create more of that, what you're trying to accomplish in the short term, right? There's always the 5-year vision. Then you've got to back it up. It's kind of like, what does it look like in 3 years? What does it look like in 1 year? We know that when 2020 hit, everybody's world got flipped upside down. There were people that had always been in an office who are now working from home. And for me, I always had an office in my house, so it wasn't really a big deal. But that's why you kind of have to think about, how does that work? You know, if you go to networking events, maybe your business is more locally focused and you're going to be doing networking events and things like that. So really it goes back to, it's the priorities, but how do you want to balance all the things that are going on in your life? As an example, I've got a coaching client who actually called me. She moved from Denver. She's from Colorado down to Arkansas. So when she looks at her ideal outcomes right now, she is an acupuncturist who also does life coaching, health coaching in that regard. So she knows moving from state to state, when you're thinking about work-life balance right now, Dana's got to get unpacked. But she also has to reestablish her business. So she's got that short term, got to get unpacked and get settled. But the long term is, she knows she can easily move her health coaching clients because they're virtual. But the hands-on, Chinese medicine clients, those are the ones she has to stick needles in. It's going to take a minute to get those clients back on her books in a completely different state. So that's why tip number 1, defining your ideal outcome, is going to be great to help you really fine tune when you don't know what to do next. All right. So the big thing about these is, not only do they answer what you need to do, not necessarily the specific steps, but it really gets into the why you're doing it, that why that tends to drive you. And having clarity is essential towards your goals, because if you don't have clarity, you're going to keep doing the same thing. And that's where you tend to get stuck. All right. Tip number 2, this is great on 2 levels, because making a list of all your accomplishments and everything you have done in your professional career, first off, if you're feeling stuck, then you've got this list of wins. So it helps from a mental perspective that you can see the things that you've created. It gives you that dopamine hit, that feel good chemical. So you can continue to check it off your list and go, yep, I've done that. I've done that. I've done that. It can also help you uncover some things, these gaps that you need to complete with that overall vision of your life. So, right. So number 1, you got to know your vision. Number 2, it's make a list of everything you've done. This takes time. It's also kind of cool. So say, for example, I just leaned over here. I've got a journal book that I keep notes in. And in the back part of it, I have that list of accomplishments. So those days, when it's like, everything's going crazy, then I can look back and go, yeah, but you did this and this and this and this, especially when you're in the process of creating offers or putting up a new landing page, or maybe you've got a new workshop that you're coming up to do, or, creating your first micro offer. Maybe it's an email series, or even doing your first live video. And that could be short form video up to doing this. So when you look at what you've already done, and especially if you get into that, oh my God, I've never done this, it's that self-talk that can stop you. And then you're like, yeah, but I did it. It didn't kill me. It may have scared the crap out of me at the time, but what did you learn from it? So that's why writing a list of what you've done helps. And then secondly, it's identify the gaps. So this are a few more, right? Here are a few more questions. And as I said, I've got all of these on my website because I'm giving you lots of lists today and very specific information. And as you know, I tend to ad lib when I go live. So are there certain areas where you feel less confident or knowledgeable? So as you're thinking about these knowledge gaps that you have, it's like, what do I need to be doing? Or maybe well, one of the things Dana mentioned today on our call is technology. She doesn't, technology tends to overwhelm her. There's a way to use technology that can really, really simplify. In her spot, she knows she needs to be sending out an email to her list. She needs to be writing at least a blog post or 2 a month, and she needs social media content. I'm like, great. In the incubator, we do that once a month. We spend about 2.5 hours. We write blog posts in literally minutes using AI. And then we turn that into video scripts. If you want to go live, we turn it into social media content. We turn it into creating your email for your list. And she's like, oh my God. It's like, yes, it doesn't have to be overwhelming. So as you're writing this list about knowledge gaps, don't immediately get stuck into the holy crap, I don't know how to do that. There's always ways to break it down and make it simple. So the second thing is, once you know these are the things that you need to do, then it's how do you go about accomplishing them in the easiest way possible? And as Dana said, I don't know what I don't know. I love that comment today. So sometimes you're able to find resources easily. Like for me, I love going out to YouTube. I love Googling tips. I love if the platforms that I work in, I go out to the help desk section. I know there are ways that I can find out what I need to do, but I've also been doing this for quite some time and tech doesn't bother me. If tech does bother you, then that's where you've got to figure out how you can actually learn in the easiest way possible so you don't end up wasting time. So this could be, as I said, is it something you can YouTube? Do you need to download, is there a lead magnet or a freebie that can help you out? Is it a quick workshop? Like I go live every week. I have a ton of content that's posted out on YouTube. So there's always a resource library for people to go to, as well as in my private Facebook group. So maybe what you're looking for, like if you want to set up ManyChat, I use ManyChat. I don't teach people how to set it up. Or Canva, I love using Canva, but I haven't created, I give my clients the tutorials, I give my clients the templates to use, but I haven't created an actual Canva training series that I market separately. So that's why you can go out and maybe see, is there a mini course? Where can you access this information? And then, is this something that you actually need to hire somebody to teach you, or can you find a mentor who's willing to donate their time? So if you don't know something, you've got that gap, then figure out the resources to help you get there. And then finally, practice, practice, practice. As one who I liken myself to Sheldon Cooper sitting on the couch. If you've ever watched The Big Bang Theory, didn't want to move out of my comfort zone. I was very stuck in my ways. But how you get out of that, I don't know, into doing is first off, take imperfect action. Too often we talk ourselves out of stuff before we've ever started, but you learn by doing. And the more you do, you also learn by teaching. So that is a great thing to help. But as you acquire new knowledge and new skills, make sure that you continue to practice regularly. As an example, you've never sent out an email through, as we talked with Dana, ConvertKit is such an easy platform to use as far as emails and landing pages. When it's new, you sit through one of their first tutorials that they have. They actually have some live workshops as well, but then you don't wait 3 to 4 months to send out your next email to your list. So especially if it's something like tech that can get you caught up, as I said, it's easier when you do it. It's the same thing if you're going to do live video, right? I've got my video guide, especially for people who hate to do live video. And I'm not talking about live like this. I'm talking about short form content. I just did a series of 15-second videos. In fact, I've got the series, it's out on YouTube, and I've also posted it on Instagram, that talks about how to create engaging content. Anybody can do a video short for 15 seconds, right? It's more of that mental thing to get it out of your head so you can put it into action. So remember that learning is an ongoing process, and part of it is just be open and be curious. And especially if something challenges your assumptions or beliefs, that's actually a good thing. So that's why, in fact, I posted this, a friend of mine was saying, what are those words or phrases that will literally stop you in your tracks? And a big one is, I already know that. Even if I know something, I am always willing to look at a way to do things differently. So think about that. Once you've made your list of everything you've already done and you recognize the gaps, use that curiosity to help you learn and take you to your next level in business. All right. Tip number 3 for when you don't know what to do next in your business. If you've done the first step, you've got your ideal outcome and then already accomplished and identifying the gaps, then number 3 is creating a roadmap. So this is where once you know you've got that vision for where you're going, then it's the ideal time to create a roadmap to help you get there. The reason I use the term roadmap is I created the Drive planning system and I'm a car girl. And so I love phrases like that. All right. So what I think about is your roadmap, and I already started drawing this to help you with 4 main areas of your business. So with that, area number 1 is your brand. So think about all the things that go into your brand. Before you market something, you've got to know who your clients are. Maybe it's something you need to tweak with your messaging. So these are 4 key areas versus having this never-ending list of all the things that you have to do, which can be overwhelming. So the second thing is revenue. Revenue is really your offers. So what are your offers that you're looking at marketing? And maybe it's something, in fact, Dana, my client I mentioned earlier, she wants to tweak her private coaching offers because she really didn't get them set up the way. She's only got 1. And I'm like, that's great. Now, I did my power of 3 offer formula. When you have 3 choices that somebody can take versus, hey, buy my thing and that's it. I learned this back in 2008 when I launched my speaking business. I would always send over 3 different options to conference organizers and companies who were looking at bringing me in for speaking and training opportunities. When you give somebody 3 options, then it makes it a much easier yes, instead of here's the thing and it either works or it doesn't. So that's why as you're going through, number 2 is getting your offers. And that's going to even be, as I talk to Dana, it's like, do you have your free offer, your lead magnet? So how are you going to generate interest off your website? Or maybe you do a live and you say, hey, I've got this freebie thing. Do you want it? So that's why you've got your lead magnet or freebie. And then number 2, if you think something not necessarily low ticket, but lower ticket, and then you've got more of a signature offer. Even if you only offer one-on-one coaching, you can still create 3 different levels of offers. So marketing, then that gets into how are you going to attract your clients consistently into your world and then convert them into clients. So that is the attract and connect part. And as I said earlier, it's not, I'm spelling this wrong because I'm talking right at the same time. So you probably can't read that, but attract and connect. So that's everything from your social media strategy. It's building a list. A simple thing to think about is I always say you should have like your Netflix type of platform. So YouTube and Pinterest are more like Netflix because your content will continue to live on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok. It lasts a day or 2 if you're lucky. So that's why when you're looking at your marketing process in all of this, if you don't know what to do next, it's literally sitting down and go, am I on the right platform? Am I getting out there consistently? These are some of the basic questions to ask yourself. And then finally, systems. I am all about creating simple systems because if you can maximize your time, and part of it is an easy checklist that I know every time I go live, I have to do these 3 things in advance. And then I always have the follow-up. If I put it in a checklist, then I can go, did I make that happen? Especially when life goes crazy and you're like, I forgot to do it. Write it down, put it in a checklist. It's the same thing. It doesn't matter any of these, right? It's like, if you have a new offer, if I make an update, here's a crazy one. So if I make an update to a landing page, that I have, in fact, my new landing page just went out there, it's like, I know that I have to make sure that I update the back end, getting into a little techie, but I got to update all the things or else somebody's going to go to a landing page and nothing works. So it depends on where you're at in your business and the systems that you need to create. I am all about keeping it simple. So start with the basic things. Maybe it's a content calendar. You know that you need to be consistent weekly out on social media. And so it's a matter of, when do I post, where do I post, and how do I post? And just having that simple little checklist to mark it off until it becomes more second nature in the process. So with that, the next thing you want to do is prioritize. So you've got your list of all the things, and then you prioritize, and then you pick one and you reverse engineer it. So if you don't know what to do next and you try to do 5 things, there's a good chance you're not going to do anything. But if you prioritize and say, hey, I've got a timeline coming up and I need to do this one thing, then you reverse engineer it. I have a whole other video that I did on goal planning, which really helps you to reverse engineer the process and make it super easy. But the big thing is you've got to have some kind of plan, because first off, that's going to help your confidence. You're going to know the direction that you're going in and you don't miss anything in the way. Here's a word for you: teleological. We are goal-oriented creatures. It is proven science that if we do not create a new goal, we will reset to the current goals that we have. So there is a huge difference between having a daily action item list or a task list or whatever you want to call it, and having your 90-day goals reversed into your 30-day goals that you now know what you need to do each week and each day that you can track to make sure you're there. Are you going to stick to everything that you do? Not necessarily. Is life going to happen at times and throw you off track? Absolutely. And I speak from experience in this regard. But when you've got that plan and you know that you're moving towards things, then that's what helps you. It's like, instead of not knowing what to do next, you have a plan. You just need to work with the plan as things happen, because eventually, yes, you're going to reach your destination. So with that, I always promise to do a quick recap. So if you've ever said that I know that I need to do things, but I want to make sure that I'm doing the right things in my business, this video is going to share my top 3 tips for when you don't know what to do next in your business. So tip number 1, define your ideal outcome. So that outcome is more like that bigger vision that you've got in your business. Based on the stage of where you're at in your business, that vision is going to look different. That ideal outcome is going to look different for everybody. And it's easier to know what this is with some questions. And I'm going to read through these to make sure that I am doing this quickly and giving you everything you need. So number 1 is, what are your professional goals that you want to achieve through your business? So your goals are different than that overall vision that you have. So think about some goals of what you're trying to accomplish. And it could be with your offers, it could be number of clients that you have. It's like, what are you looking at doing? Do you want to have a podcast? Do you want to write a book? These are all things that I've done. It's like, do you want to speak on national stages? Do you want to do virtual summits? Do you want to do just private one-on-one coaching and you want to do it in person versus, in the virtual world? So write down and think about, what are some of these goals that you want to achieve? And this is where don't limit, just write. You'll always have a chance to go back to edit versus getting in the, but I don't know how to do that. Don't worry about that part right now. All right. What does success look like for you? I have some clients, they are full-time. They are all in on their business. I have a couple of clients that they are at the stage where they've already had a career. They kind of retired and now they're getting into what they're passionate about. One's very passionate about her health because she's a long hauler with COVID. So she doesn't want to work 40 hours a week. She doesn't even want to work 20 hours a week. And so that's why you kind of define, it's like, what does success look for you? Is it something that's monetary, or is it something that more of, with me, ultimate success? I know when I'm giving back philanthropically and I have the time to devote to the nonprofits that I love, then that means everything else is working well in my business. So what does success look like to you? Question 3 to ask yourself is, how do you know when you've achieved it? That's a big one. You've got to know what those parameters are so you know that you've achieved that success. And then what are your priorities? Is it family? Is it making sure that you've got work-life balance? Maybe you're single and you just want to have, a great weekend off a month, or, maybe it's you want to take so many vacations a year. So you've got to look at what your priorities are. That also ties back into how much time do you want to spend working on your business? When you ask yourself these questions, and now I will tell you, don't edit, but also be aware. So if you say you want to build $1 million business, you've never done anything yet, this is a brand new business, but you only want to work 5 hours a week, clearly that's going to take a heck of a long time to get there. So part of it is look at this and go, what is it that I can accomplish? But also don't overextend, but don't limit yourself either. It's kind of a fine line. All right. Tip number 2, make a list of everything you've already done. This accomplishes 2 things. When you're having those oh crap kind of days, when everything's hit the fan, you can continue to look at that list, and it actually creates a dopamine response in the brain, and it will help to give you the motivation so you can continue to move forward in your business. The second reason why you want to make a list of everything you've already done, and then you go, I don't know what to do next, is it helps you to identify those gaps that you need to be covered. It could be knowledge. It could be building out something. It could be resource. But it's really important that you have the list. So as you're looking at what's that ultimate vision and then what are the goals, then you can start working towards that in a diligent way. It goes back to, is it something where you can go to YouTube and get the information you need to fill that knowledge gap? Maybe it's a freebie that you can download. Maybe you've got a mentor that you can go to, a trusted advisor, another business owner, somebody who's been doing this much longer and they've achieved that success, and you want to have a conversation. And maybe you need to hire somebody to help you do this. So that's why when you become aware of the knowledge gaps, then you know what you need to do to solve it, and also how quickly you want to solve it. All right. And then number 3, create a roadmap. You've got to have a roadmap to know where it is that you want to go and get there efficiently. I already wrote this out since we're in the middle of a quick recap. The easiest thing that I do is I put these in categories of brand, which is everything client, niche, your unique message, your offers, the type of offers you're creating, marketing, how do you attract and connect with your clients? How do you take them through the client journey and turn them into, your perfect client? And then systems. That can even be, how do you onboard clients once they come in? So once you have that, then you need to prioritize where you need to spend the most time and then reverse engineer each of those steps. So with that, if you are stuck and you don't know what to do next, then use these 3 tips to help you give a clear, that clear plan of action, and to help you have that confidence. So as you're checking things off your list and you are continuing to grow, then you're exactly where you need to be, when you want to get there. With that, if you want I've got my 1 week, it's my part of my drive planning system, and it really helps you plan what's in your week. And it also gives you a weekend review process, which is amazing. So if you want that week, I'm happy to send it to you. It is, as I said, it's the week of the drive planning system. Happy to send it to you for free. Drop week in the comments. And I see that I have, I've got people saying hi. So hello. But drop it in the comments below and I will be happy to send it your way. And of course, if you want the show notes, then drop the word next, because we flew through a lot of things in our time together. So with that, you can follow me for more tips to build your business online.